Alrighty. All right. So first of all, how long are you locals to London?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been in London?
I've lived in London for 8 years.
5.
So I would consider that a local. I've lived here since August. So and I'll be here until August. So it'll be about a year, but I wish it could be longer. And where are you from originally?
I'm originally from Ghana in West Africa. Yeah, and I came over to study, and then I got stuck. Yeah.
I'm from Baltimore.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Yeah. And then just to have it in like a complete phrase, like what brought you to London in the first place?
Initially it was work because I went to university in the Midlands, so in the Midlands. I think that's self-explanatory. So then I came here for a job. So I came here to do PR, and I wanted to get away from like the provincial, and like London was like the gateway to opportunities and fun times.
I also came here for work, and right after university. And, well, no, I did my last term of university here so I could do work experience, so I could get a job. And, yeah, I ended up in PR as well for a while. And then I did my teacher training, and I was teaching. Yeah.
And what are you doing now?
Now we're studying
Yeah, we're both doing an MA.
in text and performance. Yeah, but then I trained as an actress, so this is like my kind of further study into my practice, whatever that means. But yeah, so I'm a student.
I'm a drama teacher, so this is good for me.
And how long do you think you're going to be in London?
Forever.
My husband's from here, so I don't know. It will depend on sort of how things work out with both of us, I guess, both of our jobs. But I can't say. You might go back to the States.
When you think of London, what's the first thing that you think of?
Buses.
Probably Tower Bridge or Westminster.
And we were talking before about like when we were interviewing tourists. How often do you visit the touristy spots?
Like
Never.
I can't. I have this kind of almost fantasy of getting on the city tour bus. Like hop on, hop off, and I've never even done like a river cruise thing. I'm like, oh, that sounds like fun. Yeah, I'll do that next weekend, and then I just never get around to it.
The only time I do it is really when people come to visit. It's like I've been on the Eye like probably 3 or 4 times, and I love it every time, but it's always like with someone else. Although I have been going to the Shard because they have a yoga class there now on the top, which is pretty cool, and I can walk to it, so I guess that counts as a touristy place, sort of.
Yeah, I guess so.
So we've been asking tourists what their favorite spots of London. They always say Big Ben or Buckingham Palace or something. As locals, what are your favorite spots in London?
Parks.
Parks and like the markets. I want to say Portobello Road because I live near there, but then paradoxically I actually hate it because there's so many tourists and it's like you can't ever get around to anywhere, but it's a wonderful place. It's amazing. So much to kind of discover and to see, and yeah, it's great.
Yeah, the local markets are the best, like Deptford
And Borough Market.
Borough Market. I still like Borough Market a lot, but like on a Thursday morning when there's no one there. Yeah.
Lots of free
I wouldn't
food.
go. Yeah, I wouldn't go on the weekends.
Yeah. I would never go to Portobello on the weekends. Usually during the week.
And how about, oh, sorry, that was just a really good answer that I completely forgot the question that I was going to be asking. So considering both of you were not born and raised in London like other quote-unquote locals, what was the turning point? What was the moment when you said, London is my home and I am a local here?
I still don't feel like a local because I've been on so many visas, and now my visa is still dependent on my husband. So it's where I live. Like if I'm going home, I would say I'm going back to London. But I don't feel like I'm really part of it now because of that situation, which is kind of sad because, you know, this is where I like work and this is where I live and this is where I have my friends. But yeah, there's definitely still like a barrier there.
I think for me it was a comment someone made. Well, no, one of the first turning points is when people ask you for directions and you're like, oh yeah, I know where to point you. And I'm like, yes, I'm local because I know where to point you. And then someone made a comment and said, oh my gosh, like you're like a South Londoner. So then already it's like they're breaking it down even more because different areas of London, people are very different and the lingo and the way they speak and stuff. So to be identified as a South Londoner, because I spent a lot of time in South London, that was like, oh, okay, so maybe I am in it. Yeah. Part of the cool kids. Okay, I wouldn't do that again.
And if you were to describe London in 3 words, what would you choose?
I would choose multicultural, discovery, and colorful.
Sort of gray-blue and diverse and European.
That's so funny that you say that it's European because a lot of people think that London is such an Americanized city. So it's very interesting that you said that. My sister's been living in Florence for a while, and she came to London. And she's like, "Oh my God, you get all the brands in America, like that America has," and it's a very interesting perspective because I think that it's very European too. And then when I traveled to Italy, I was like, "Oh well, this is very Italian," and things like that. So
that's really true. I don't feel that London's very European at all. And then I go to Paris and I'm like, oh, this is so Europe.
Well, it's more British European. But there's some times where you're like, oh my gosh, this is really European.
That's true.
So you mentioned tourists before. How do you feel about tourists in your city?
As long as they're not ahead of me on the pavement, I don't mind. But sometimes when you're in a rush, then
It's really annoying.
yeah, then you get a bit frustrated, but then you have to calm down and think, well, if I go anywhere else, I'm a tourist, so.
Yeah, similarly. I think sometimes I feel like, oh, they're necessary evil because it's great for the economy and it's also great because, you know, sometimes when I go down to Green Park and, you know, you have the tourists like going down to Buckingham Palace, I think it forces me to look at London in a different way, which I appreciate actually. I'm like, oh wow, I walk past it all the time, but you know, it makes me sort of stand and sort of admire it from their eyes as well, which is kind of great. But yeah, I don't go to Oxford Street because of that. It's just like you can't walk past 0 miles an hour.
9:30 in the morning on the weekdays, then it's really nice. It's like big pavement and not that many people.
True. Or late at night.
Yeah, really late at night, but like Monday, Tuesday, not like later in the week.
Thursday is fine.
Friday
at night.
No.
And what has London taught you about yourself, about the world?
I don't
National-
know. Go.
I was just gonna say, national health care is really important. I hope it stays.
Yes, it will. I think for me, just coming from Africa, I think it has taught me that I can be myself and I can still kind of practice my culture and like aspects of my African or Ghanaian national identity. So I can get Ghanaian food and I can go to areas of London where there are just Ghanaians. And I understand like in some ways it's not great for integration, but also in some ways for a lot of people who live in the diaspora who are desperately trying to hold on to what's left of their culture, those kind of places are like really important and it kind of rejuvenates you in a way. It's kind of cool. It's nice.
And this might be a tough question. What's your least favorite part of London?
Like as in the actual place?
Any aspect of it.
I don't like it when it smells like pee.
Yeah. King's Cross. I
I
mean,
King's
I know
Cross is better now.
it is better, but I know they're trying to rejuvenate and like throwing money, but it's still a bit grimy. And not even in a cool way, because you get like cool grime. Like Peckham's kind of cool in a grimy way.
Yeah.
King's Cross is just grimy.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Camden is like a love-hate for me. Like I kind of love it.
See, yeah, it's true.
But it kind of smells like pee, and there's a lot of
Druggies.
yeah.
It's the only place I've actually been in London where I was offered drugs, like almost as I stepped out of the station. It's never happened anywhere. Like you step out and you're like, do you want to buy? And you're like, whoa, what? Oof. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I think that's pee.
Probably if you have to travel anywhere on a Sunday, that can get frustrating.
Yes, transport, like underground engineering works. I
Yeah.
can't remember a time where it's never, like we've never had engineering works on the tube. Like the tube's always shut.
Except during the Olympics. The Olympics was like amazing.
That's true.
And everyone, there
There
was
was like extra
and
services
everyone
and like
left.
a bullet train.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was quite, that was nice.
Yeah,
But yeah, engineering works, London Underground,
I would never drive in London.
ditto.
Although, like, I live in South London, and everyone from South London is like, you have to drive. I think they're just lazy.
At least you get out. People in South London don't travel.
Well, no, I guess they're either people in South London, they either bike or they drive. So I'm somewhere in the middle because I walk and take the tube. Still, I think actually I'd feel like more of a Londoner if I biked.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's dangerous.
Yes, it is.
And one last question.
Yeah.
Which I find really awesome is that I notice like both of you have a British accent, and